Hello, welcome back to the channel. Just a project I'm working on here. We're going to widen the driveway out as it's a bit narrow and difficult to get out of the car when we need to. So I've dug out a trench as best as I could, got rid of any plants, weeds, and then I was thinking to myself that to mix the concrete for all of this, it would take a long time. So what I did was I found some scraps of metal, scraps of plastic even, where I will pour over the concrete, inshallah, and it will help to stabilize it, because if we're going to drive a car on here, then we don't want things rocking about. And when that's concreted, it should harden. So I've put a few tiles on top, and that helps us to get the right level. So the next thing is to find all the tiles and get concreting. You know, I was thinking about marriage, and of course marriage is such a big topic, and people have many different challenges through marriages, and one of the things that many husbands and wives do is they constantly ignore each other, and because they feel emotional, so they ignore each other, they even be rude to each other, unpleasant to each other, and then they wonder why it's so difficult to get out of that situation. Well, what I was thinking about was, if we safeguard ourselves, then that's our way of being patient. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you should always be patient, and what better way to show patience than to show it with your own family? So things might not go your way, you might have different opinions, but you can't change everybody's mind, and you might feel very strongly about what you believe in, but the main thing is that throughout that process that you behave correctly, especially if you have children, because sooner or later they'll see you behaving in that way and they'll wonder why, what's going on. They'll be a bit confused and a little bit hurt, and the results of that will show after, as they grow up. So what I recommend is that even if you have a disagreement, you still be pleasant, you still give salam properly to each other, you look at each other, you don't ignore one another, because you've got a job to do together as a family, especially if you have children. Now, the other thing to consider is the fact that if you're constantly unpleasant with somebody, then that can be a sin. So you're collecting all these sins, and then what happens when you collect lots of sins up? Things stop going your way, you become a bit sad, you've been doing the wrong things, saying the wrong things, not showing respect, and then ultimately you start to malfunction. You start making the wrong choices instead of the right choices, and then things go a little pear-shaped. So best to avoid that. Always safeguard yourself. Have a rule where you're definitely going to be courteous, you're going to talk to people with respect, and just because things don't go your way, it doesn't mean you have to be disrespectful to anybody. So that's my advice today about marriage, and I'll see you soon, inshallah, for another video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.